Welcome everyone to today's video. Today I am in the Pajero. Um, Today's video and probably the next video are both going to be getting the Pajero back up and running. We moved and then we had it parked for 2 months, and in that 2 months, one of the seals is like real bad now. So every time I drive it, it loses maybe like maybe not that much. Maybe like 2 tablespoons of fluid. And that's 2 tablespoons too much. So, I have a case full of Motul so I can do a proper fluid flush or swap or whatever you want to call it. I have a reseal kit that I bought for the whole engine like 2 years ago, and it's about time I use it. So I'm gonna dig in. Apparently there's a side panel on the engine that is below the fuel pump. So I don't know if I have to take the fuel pump off, and if I do have to take the fuel pump off, if I have to take the timing belt off, because I think it's driven by the timing belt. I got some figuring out to do, but I also have everything to redo the whole front end of the truck. So ball joints, tie rod ends, everything. There's also I got new brake calipers because the calipers on here, one of them is seized and like one pad is fully worn and the other one is not worn at all. So instead of messing around trying to rebuild some Japanese calipers, I just bought the US spec ones for the Montero, which are a little bit bigger. So I got brake pads, rotors, calipers. I also have a snorkel and a couple other mods to do here and there. So it'll be a lot of info for just one. So hopefully we'll make this speedy and I can get the Pajero back on the road. So let's get into it. Okay. So if we look at this thing, it's kind of just like a little bit wet over here. You can see that there's been some kind of oil leaking, as well as this side is really wet. And if we go under the vehicle, you can see even just from being parked. So I came home and I parked it somewhere else so that it didn't leak on the pad. And then I just moved it here, and just moving it here, there's drips all over the place. But if we look up, everything's got a really good coat of oil. So I need to do the oil pan gasket, which is right up in here. And then the side cover gasket. I'm going to do the intake and exhaust gaskets as well. I have a new turbo. Just a lot of everything. I'm looking at this right now, and that's a piece of my lower control arm. That's not great. Looks like, yeah, my lower control arm bushings are gone, so I might have to get some control arms as well. But that's a problem for tomorrow, Chris. Yeah, so you can kind of see everything's just a little shiny. Here, I'll turn the flash on. Well, the alternator's clean because that's brand new, but everything over here is just wet. And the oil pan is all wet. The diff casing is wet, but I think that's just because the oil pan is dripping onto the diff casing. So yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do to clean all this up. On top of that, I think my radiator is clogged. So I'm going to do a radiator flush. It's full because I just filled it up. But I'm going to drain it all and try and run some, I have some cleaner to run through it. See how that is. I'm going to pull the radiator out as well to make it easier to get down in here and work on some stuff. I think this is the injection pump. And I don't know if I have to take that off or not, but I might be able to work around it. Yeah, I just got to dig in and start tearing stuff apart. So I have no idea what I'm looking at in here. So I'm not very diesel friendly. I know there's a gasket on the end of the dipstick here going down into the pan. I'm trying to figure out where the side cover is. I think I see it right down in here underneath of everything. So I might take the battery out. I might take a bunch of shit out of here just to try and make it a bit easier. I still don't know if the injection pump can be taken out easily, but I'm sure I'll find out. So when I started filming the video, I actually didn't have a tripod mount. I realized I left it at my buddy's place, and I'm not gonna go drive an hour to go get it and come back while I'm in the middle of the project. So I printed this with my Bamboo Labs, and it's just a really quick and easy mount for a quad lock case, which is the case that I have. Kind of hard to film it because it's in my hand, but yeah, so I printed this and then I had to insert this little piece of metal in there. Now I can screw this down to my tripod and be able to articulate the camera. Just a little side project, and the exact reason I have a 3D printer. So I am going to be taking off the turbo as well today or tomorrow. Pretty much everything here is coming off, and then maybe most of what's over there. So let's just do it. So I got the heat shield off that was right here. And now these were the bolts I was struggling with. It was just hard to get the camera over here and it not be in my way. So you get what you get. I got to get the other two nuts more off. And then once those are off, I think I can pull the exhaust. Then I can get to the bolts that hold it to the manifold. I can take that off. Once that's off, I'm gonna look and see if anything from the manifold is leaking. If it's not, maybe I'll leave that. I do have the gasket for it, but if it's not leaking, I shouldn't touch it. So yeah, I'll pull the turbo off and we'll check in then. So the problem with these Japanese vehicles is this turbo, I bought it and it said it was 100% for a Pajero, which it looks like it is. And then I go and start looking at it, and it looks like the one on the Pajero, the wastegate feeds directly into the downpipe, where this one, the wastegate feeds back into the housing on the inside. It's a little funky, but it comes out the inside right there. So I'm trying to figure out if this one's even gonna fit. Regardless, it needs to be rebuilt. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it off and then take both of them side by side, look at them and see where I'm at. Hopefully I can just figure it out and be done with it, but I don't know for sure. So after messing around with this for the last 2 hours, I snapped one of the bolts off. I thought there was 3 studs on the turbo. Sorry, 3. Because my new turbo only has 3 studs, but it looks like my new turbo is different. So this has 5 studs, not 3. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the hot side separated from the cold side and see if I can put the new cold side, because they're almost identical turbos. See if I can put the whole cartridge and the cold side just slapped onto the front of it, and see how that goes. I don't know yet, but I'm leaning towards it might actually work. But yeah, I figured I'd turn the camera back on because this has been a bunch of BS. I already got the clamp. Where is it? This is the clamp for the turbo. It's like a V-band, might be a V-band, but it wraps around the turbo and clamps together. The nut for it is gone. But I should be able to wiggle that off. I might need to clean this up a little bit more because I can't grip it because it's coated in oil on the bottom. So this is my new turbo. And if I take that off, this is what I'm trying to remove. So this piece and this piece are just fused together in there right now. I'm trying to just wiggle it enough so that it can pop out, but it doesn't want to wiggle enough. So I think I'm gonna go get a blowtorch. But in the meantime, I got some other stuff I'll do first because I might need more parts. So I think let's take out the radiator. So I've already had the radiator draining. The goal would be a new radiator, but I can't find one for less than 700 plus shipping. That's the exact fit for this car, for the Pajero. So I've been looking at other radiators that might fit. And if I can take this one out and measure it properly, I can find out if the radiator I'm looking at will fit. And it's for a Dodge something. So I've already drained the radiator. So I'm just going to unbolt the shroud, get the shroud off of that thing, and then unbolt the radiator itself and the hoses. So I need my handy dandy 10 mil. I got some paper towel now. I did pull off I pulled the line off for the 2 lines for the transmission cooler that goes in the radiator. I just looped it so it wouldn't cause too much stress. Now I should be able to pull it out, but it's probably still gonna be a little wiggly. Try and get it past this fan. They have their own problems. Almost. There we go. Fan shroud off.
Much later.
That's absolutely asinine. There's 2 power steering coolers. And it loops through one and then loops through the radiator. So I thought I had it off, but I did not. So as you can see with this one, the fins are all bent, which I mean, I can straighten out fins, but apparently they get clogged. So like, oh, all this rust from the iron block can clog up the radiator. So I think this is an original one, and I'm pretty sure it definitely needs replacing. So now that I got this out, I can measure it. But for today, I'm just gonna pack everything up and pick up a couple things to try and get the turbo torn apart tomorrow. So I will be back tomorrow.
Day 2.
All right, welcome to day 2. Today I went and picked up a handy dandy little torch and some WD-40 and some other stuff to try and loosen up this turbo so I can swap out the core. So
Six and a half hours later.
finally got it off. This drain hose is like crumbling. So that could be where some of my leak was from, but also the back of this turbo is just absolutely drenched. So I'll replace the core and the front housing with this one, and the back housing, I think this one doesn't fit with the downpipe that I have, unless I get a new downpipe and all that stuff, but I'm not. This is just a daily. I just don't want it to leak oil. So yeah, I think I'll swap out to the other back housing. I got to clean it up first, and I got to clean up the rest of the hose off the bottom part, and then this hose, and then I think I have some replacements for that. And then if you see in here, this is the drain hose right back here. Oh, there it is. And yeah, it's just like crumbling apart. There's a bunch of it right here. So I need to clean that up, put a new hose on. I think that's about it for this side of the engine. I'm gonna take a look at this thing because I think this is for recirculation. The boost recirculates down into the exhaust, I guess, or wherever. And I want it to be blocked off, like on my other car, so it has flutter. But I know it's not the best for engines, but also turbo noises are sweet. So I think that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, next I have to move over to the other side of the engine, over here. And underneath, behind this pump, there's a panel I have to take off. So I gotta figure that out. Apparently it's easier if you take all this stuff out. So that's next on the list, but I'm gonna get this turbo all figured out and put back on, and then I'll update you guys. So I don't know if this shot will work out, but I got the turbo off, and then one of the bits of hose went into this fitting. So I can't just leave that because that's not good. So what I'm doing is taking this housing off. I already unbolted it, but there's one more hose on the bottom, I think. Pendra bolt. That's what I needed. And, oh my God, there's so much oil. And just tuck this under here. This could have been one of the many seals that were blown. So I guess it's a good thing I dropped this piece of rubber in here. So that little piece of rubber could have definitely done some damage. Ugh. I gotta clean the gasket off this side and then gasket off the other side. All right, we're back. Just chatting with one of my new neighbors. Yeah, so got this all done up. Tightened and ready to go. I need to clean that out. Maybe I'll use an oily rag so I retain a lot of the dirt. It has been a few days. I managed to squeeze the turbo back in place and put the turbo drain and all that stuff. That's all bolted up. That's kind of what I left off with on Friday last week. It's now Tuesday. It was a long weekend. It was raining, but as you can see, it's a beautiful day out today. So I thought I'd get some more work done. After doing all this, I was looking around. I noticed that there is a fuel leak on this side. So I'm going to take all the injectors out. I'm still unsure if I'm going to rebuild them or get new ones or just get a rebuild kit and build them. I don't know. I got to figure that out still. On top of that, I still need to take the side oil pan gasket or whatever you want to call it. The inspection plate. I got to take that off, put a new gasket on it, flatten it, do all that. But it's going to be at least another day or two because I'm going to pick up the other half of the new project. So I'm going to end this video here. So thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll have more Pajero coming real soon. I'm going to be working all week. So see you guys later.